Greetings. Thank you. I'm Phil Little, host of the Private Investigator Experience podcast. Along with my co-host Wade Little, we take you inside the world of a PI show and show you what a PI does and look at some of the cases and clients that we've had. But on this weekly post, my weekly wrap-up, I want to take a few minutes to just look through the eyes of an investigator at what is happening around the world and in our nation that could affect the security in your community. Yes, things from a long way away can affect us. My approach to helping my clients stay safe is found in the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Just a little bit of prevention is worth a whole lot of enforcement and the cost and possible loss of life. So I hope that becomes your motto also. I also let my biblical worldview guide me as I evaluate the changing landscape we are faced with each day. As I analyze the facts that I see and what I believe is happening out around the world, I think we have more of a spiritual problem than a political one. I don't think an election or a change in political party will change the rapidly deteriorating climate in our countries. I suspect most of us are similar in our hopes that someone will just do something already, that political parties will come together for the good of the American people, that our government will step in and enforce the rule of law and uphold the Constitution. As I have watched the collapse of all the hope we have had in our government and realize that the politicians and government aren't going to come up with solutions, what then do we do? What have we done in our history when we, the people, are under attack by an enemy? The freedom-loving Americans have come together and stood against the enemy. This time it's different, though. The enemy is from within. That has been one of the things that slowed many of us, me included, down from getting involved. We weren't used to having the enemy in our communities and our lives. We are used to being free. And yes, we've seen other parts of the world where the rulers were ruthless and overrun their people and put them in slavery, not in America. As I've said on my last update, it's time for a 911 call to all Americans. We are in trouble. Now, that's not to scare you, because I believe we still have opportunity to turn it around. I submit to you that we're approaching the last stand to keep our country free, where we have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and our Second Amendment rights. And our founders did not put in that Second Amendment so we could have hunting and sporting rights with weapons. They had a broader understanding, for they knew what could happen. And they said the Second Amendment is to hold back an overriding government that might want to take over the people and to hold them in check. And that's what the Second Amendment is all about. In my investigation, I found an increase in attempts to shut down free speech when it goes against the administration's party line and what they say is true. What do you feel about free speech? Do you have as much free speech as you did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even a year ago? What do you think's going on around free speech? Is there a problem or an issue with that? Are you concerned? Would you leave me your comments of what you think and what you think the solutions are to our country? And I'll give you an email at the end also where you can respond that way. How have our social media platforms suppressed free speech? Do you think it's okay for the administration in power, no matter which party it is, to shut down opposing views? Let me know in the comment section what you feel about the social media being coerced and threatened and pulling down views that the government doesn't like. Those in power keep saying that they are not suppressing free speech, but the facts keep coming out. You don't have to be much of an investigator to uncover what is going on and by whom. We don't have enough time to cover all the facts around free speech suppression, but let's just note a couple. There are two different revelations I'll touch on. One was the Twitter files. And this was an attempt to shut down opposing voices and different opinions that the government had. If you wanted to say that you believe something differently, they shut down, coerced, threatened, and the Twitter files revealed all of that. It's all there. If you want to take a look, it's out on the internet and you can see it all. And then the other is the decision by the U.S. Fifth District Circuit Court of Appeals, which in the last few days, they upheld an injunction restricting how the government can communicate with social media companies. Now, the Biden administration warns that if they go through with this, it will stymie efforts to counter false and misleading claims about elections, public health, and other important topics. Well, who's going to determine what the real facts are and what we should believe? Not from somebody's viewpoint. I don't think any of us, any American, wants to have someone, no matter who they are or what political party they're in, tell us what the facts are and that we should think the way they do. This panel of judges say that the administration's efforts to flag what they consider to be false and harmful content about COVID, the 2020 election, and other topics violate the social media companies' policies that they need to post what their members submit, and it likely violates the First Amendment. The court found that Biden administration officials, now this is a court, not a political party, that the Biden administration officials coerced, threatened the social media companies to take down content. Now, here's what it means and what was said in the opinion. And I quote, "The officials, that's the Biden administration, have engaged in a broad pressure campaign designed to coerce social media companies into suppressing speakers, viewpoints, and content disavowed by the government. The harm that radiates from such conduct extends far beyond just the plaintiffs. It impacts every social media user. That's you and me. I suggest to you that right now we need to stop, listen, learn, then act when we determine what the facts are. The time for being quiet and hoping that someone else will do something is long past. I believe that we still have time to turn back the destructive forces and voices that want to take away our freedom and make us their slave. But time is short. If we don't act now, soon it will be too late. And as the situation with our government and law enforcement prevention and enforcing laws and putting criminals in jail, as that goes more into effect, crime in our communities will increase dramatically and it will affect the safety of all citizens. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. What you think what ought to be done in both the podcast or the YouTube, or you can email me at pi777@gmail.com. Hey, I mean, if you enjoyed this post, please like and share it and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when the next one is coming out. Remember, together, we can make a difference. Until next time, be safe. May God bless you and your family, and may God bless America.